Hello and welcome to the Rate Out of 10 channel, and today I'm reviewing Insano by Kid Cudi. Here is the album tracklist and let's jump into my review for each song. Song 1. Often I have these dreams with DJ Drama. When I heard DJ Drama was on this track I was turned off a bit. I personally find him annoying to listen to. For example, when he was on Tyler's album he reminds me of DJ Khaled in that way, and when I hear him he just sounds obnoxious anyway. This was overall an okay opener. I loved Cudi's flow, however I feel that he kept interrupting his flow, which was personally annoying to me. The bars were just okay and I think the length could have been longer by maybe a minute, but yeah, not a bad start to the album, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Song 2. Keep Bouncing. The beat is cold and it slaps, but with first listen I found the verses kinda boring, but on my second listen it's not bad. I appreciate the intensity of the beat, which becomes more prominent in the chorus and post-chorus to me. Cudi's flow can come off a bit of a mess and at times it feels a bit offbeat, but honestly it's not so bad that it ruins the track. That post-chorus is so catchy and lively, and I love how dark it sounds even though it has its faults. I'll give it 8 out of 10. Song 3. Get Off Me with Travis Scott. No, not DJ Drama again. He takes up 40 seconds of the intro of a 3.5-minute track, which to me affects the replay value of the track. The chorus is weak but the intensity of the beat is cool and epic. Travis had a very filler verse and his contribution was very short. I do like that they traded lines a bit to make up for that short length. His verse though some lyrics lacked creativity, for example that hot like a steamer. Overall the beat was the highlight, which is disappointing. It shows that both Cudi and Trav's presence really lacked. I felt the effort they both put in was very low, which sucks as they've both made great songs together before this, therefore gets a 4 out of 10. Song 4. Most Ain't Dennis. The auto-tune sounds rough on this, which sucks because Cudi used it very well on Man on the Moon 3. This track has a lot of weird lines, for example act like my poo don't stink. And try sucking on your bleep before you knock 'em out their socks. Bleep. He's not rhyming much on this track, which is very odd. The post-chorus where he repeatedly sung round 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 round, it sounded very whiny and grating. Cudi honestly sounds like he was out of his mind on drugs when he made this, which is why it comes off that a lack of effort was put into this track. This gets a 4 out of 10. Song 5. Wow with A$AP Rocky. This chorus sounds good. Even though it's incredibly simple, the track sounds way more polished than the others so far, and it defo sounds like more energy and effort was put into this one. Some lines in the verse sound too stretched out, but other than that the verses were good. Even though I'm not a fan of Rocky, I think he sounds good and complements the track very well. Rocky even has better lyrics than Cudi in the end. Wow gets an 8/10 when DJ Drama said that it only gets better from here. I do hope he is right because so far it's not the best start anyway. This gets 8 out of 10. Song 6. Electra Avababy. This beat is nice and the background vocals and whistles sound so peaceful and harmonious. The background vocals were utilized very well on this track and Cudi's hums like usual are incredible. And it reminds you what Cudi brings to his music that no one else does. I like the na na part, but I do think it was slightly overused on this track and it could have defo taken up less of the song. This gets a 7 out of 10. Song 7. A Tale of a Night. Not the biggest fan of the flow he chose to adopt on this track, but I think the song delivered at this point in the album. I feel like the songs are sounding too similar to each other to stand out on their own. This track is quite forgettable. Again, nothing that substantial as far as lyrics, and I'm getting fed up of the lack of rhyming. It makes the flow sound very messy, like if someone likes a song they want to rap the lines while listening to it, but when there is a lack of rhyming that makes it hard to do and harder to vibe to. I did like the horns though, and the beat in general is great, but Cudi doesn't quite do it justice for me. It's a 5 out of 10. Song 8. Cud Life. I love the distortion this beat has. It makes it sound so unhinged and edgy. I like the way Cudi utilized his auto-tune on this track as well, but I do have to say that I wished he put more effort in delivering more punchy lines, especially for the chorus. I understand if people feel the verses sound a bit disjointed, but I think this weird flow works for this track. The chorus needs to be way stronger. Overall I like this track, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Song 9. Too Damn High with Lil Yachty. I've noticed that a lot of these beats sound like they came from Eternal Atake, but Cudi uses them well. To be fair, Yachty's verse legit sucks on this and he is trying to bite Carti's flow just because he's popping, so yeah, a bit Disappointed that Cudi decided that he would be a great addition to this track. Cudi sounds way better than Yachi, but he doesn't really do anything that special on this track either. I mess with the chorus, but it's by no stretch one of the best on this album. This gets a 7 out of 10. Song 10. Jetcha Gone. The chorus is decent and the verses sound very crisp, especially with the second verse. Again, there is a lack of rhyming, but whatevs, I mess with the chorus for sure. But tbh, at this point I am missing the sad dark Cudi, and I do feel like I'm only getting party Cudi, which isn't my fav version of him. Really not much to say. BC, it's very short and it defo could have been longer and another verse was needed anyway. This gets a 6 out of 10. Song 11. At the Party, featuring Pharrell Williams and Travis Scott. Pharrell was okay, but Travis sounded like he didn't really try. Travis had this really terrible line, "And she comin' fast, like a cheetah, but she not a cheetah, cuz Elmar have to run from a cheetah, skr. Dart." But yeah, for them both to be on the same track and have a good record of making amazing songs together, this was certainly disappointing and it missed the mark. I remember when I first heard it was so mediocre and I only really listened to the song for 3 days, and after that I didn't revisit it. Overall a very mid song, so it's a 5 out of 10. Song 12. Mr. Cooler. I guess another okay party track. For some weird reason he stops rapping after the line, "Got to mix in. I'm mixin'. Sick with it. Diamonds in my mouth." I don't understand why he stopped there when his flow was just getting infectious, but I've noticed that he's done that a lot on this album, so I'm not surprised he did that again on this. This track sounds like a dude going on a rant about how cool he is but struggling to string the lines well together. For me it gets a 4 out of 10. Song 13. Freshie. This song kinda reminds me of the song he did with Eminem, which is cool. Again, not a huge fan of the drawn out intro sec with DJ drama since it ruins the replay value of the album. I love that he is rhyming better on this track as it makes the track sound cleaner as opposed to sloppy and messy. The verses go on for too long for me and this song requires a switch up. BC, it gets boring after a while, but I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Song 14. Tortured. I love how bouncy the beat is and I like that we're getting the version of Cudi a lot of his fans fell in love with. It's finally a switch from party Cudi. This was a much needed change of pace for this album and it defo interrupted the repetitiveness and filler of this album. Hopefully this is where the album starts to pick up its pace. The chorus is fire, probably the best of the album. The beat is defo one of the best as well. It's easily an 8 out of 10. Song 15. X and Cud with XXXTentacion. Off the bat, the track wastes no time getting into the subject of the song. The delivery was fire from X, which I was worried about tbh as I didn't know if it was gonna be a throwaway vocal recording from him. You can feel the hurt in X's voice as he delivers his somber lines. There are some really hard hitting lines such as "Mind is the maze, thinking about what I can't change, and devil's on my head and I don't want to worry my friends." I love this version of Cudi. This feature by X is the best placed feature so far in this album and he absolutely smashed his performance. Also the length was perfect. Yeah, nothing but praise for this song and I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Song 16. 7 with Lil Wayne. Another song where Cudi uses his strengths and makes another banger. Another wavy beat with Cudi's vocals sounding amazing. Cudi slides over this beat gracefully and I love it in this track. He is truly in his element. The chorus is fire and catchy, with Cudi exuding confidence. Wayne's verse is cool but not as good as Cudi's. Also his verse is very short but I like that he does the chorus as well to make up for that. It's a 7 out of 10. Song 17. Funky Wizard Smoke. At this point it's obvious to say that the second half of the album has outshined the first half in terms of quality. Another track where he slides on the beat like butter. Post chorus is defo better than the chorus but both are good. I wish he didn't repeat the same 2 lines in the chorus and I think he could have implemented another line which ended in "let's go," but this is kinda a nitpick. It gets a 7 out of 10. Song 18. Rager Boys with Young Thug. For anyone who has experienced depression, Cudi delivers some very short and sharp hitting lines. So many lines were relatable and it painted a picture of the struggle and the fight that one feels fighting depression. I love that Cudi is so open on this subject matter and it reminds me why I became a Cudi fan. He is the master of creating a song with a sad subject matter but giving it replay value and making it easy to listen to. Thug sounds okay on this, which makes sense as it's a type of beat he's used multiple times. Like usual, Thug can't stay on subject and has these random lines which have nothing to do with the song. Regardless of that, it's another brilliant track, which I love. So for that it gets a 7 out of 10. Song 19. Porsche is topless. In my opinion this song needs more love. Like it's what a single should be. The beat is so happy and infectious, and Cudi could have not done a better job at sliding on this beat. What an amazing chorus as well. It's simply just a banger and it gets a 7 out of 10 for me. Song 20. Blue Sky. Cudi shows again that he is so versatile and can make a happy song just as well as he makes his sad songs. The name of the track could have not been better, as this song makes you feel like you're floating in the gorgeous blue sky. I have to say the beats have not disappointed, and this song defo is the best on the album. This will defo make my summer playlist. It gives me the same vibe as the Sonic theme tune he did, which is why I love this so much. It gets a 10 out of 10. Song 21. Hit the Streets in My Nikes. The intensity and chaos of the beat is amazing. I especially love the ad libs used on this track. Another happy track which was decent but probably the weaker out of the other happy songs on this album. You can tell he just had fun with this track and it defo comes off as fun. It gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Overall thoughts. Overall I think this was a good album, but I wouldn't call it an amazing or great album as it lacked consistency. I do love that it sounds like Cudi was having a lot of fun making these tracks and that the majority of these songs aren't taking themselves too serious, thus making it easy to come back to and listen to on a daily basis. My main problem with this album is the first half, as there were plenty of mediocre tracks and mainly just party tracks, which emo isn't his strength and it's not what I became a Cudi fan for. I really do love the second half as it brings the better side of him, which is him evoking and conveying what it feels like to be at the top of world, but also what it feels like when you feel like you've reached rock bottom. I really wish there were more tracks like that on this album, but that's my bias coming in. BC emo, it's just my preferred version of him. Overall the album was pretty cohesive and the beats, maybe apart from a few, hit and sound incredible. It's also really cool that Cudi got some huge names to be on this album, as that brought some excitement, but TBH I think the majority of the features were just okay and I was kinda expecting more from them anyway. If you condense this album to its 10-12 best tracks, you've got a very solid body of work here in the end. It's not his best project, but it certainly isn't his worst. These are all the song rankings, and the overall rating is 6.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Like, sub, comment and peace out.